Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. And today I want to redesign two Pokemon. And the first one I wanted to redesign was Samurott. So the reason why I wanted to redesign Samurott was because he was my first starter in a mainline Pokemon game, so he has a special place in my heart. But I remember when I first evolved him, I felt so disappointed because based on Delphox's design, I thought that he was going to be a lot cooler. Like, for one, he's on all fours, which in a way means he devolved because he was bipedal before, so why is he on four legs now? And I get that he's supposed to be an otter and a samurai, but to be honest, I never really got that from him. Like, he doesn't look like a samurai at all. So for this redesign, I wanted to give him a lot of samurai elements as well as making him bipedal. So for his hat, I kind of wanted to make it look like a samurai hat while also being a shell so it could fit in the water type theme. And I also gave him the shoulder pads and the leg pads that he has in his original design. I guess basically I made this redesign to kind of fulfill my childhood fantasy of what I really wanted Samurott to look like as a kid. Like putting him on two legs, making it look like a more natural evolution to Duat, as well as adding some more details and elements that makes him look more like a samurai. In his original design, he had these giant whiskers, so I decided to make it look like hair instead. Because some samurais, they wear like these red masks that have like a lot of white hair flowing at the back of them, so I kind of wanted to replicate that. And I researched a bunch of different seashells, so his sword is a special kind of shell. It's called a turret shell, and I thought that it kind of resembled a sword, and it looks like it could be used as a weapon. Excuse me, sorry. Which is why I used that for his sword design. As for his color palette, I kept it mostly the same. One big difference that I did was for the shells, I wanted them to match the Hisuian color palette instead of the normal color palette. So his shells, like his hat and his armor, are both black as opposed to like the tan color. Okay, and here's his final design. For his proportions, I struggled quite a bit with them. So I try to reference different Pokemon like Lucario and Samurott. I feel like because of that, he kind of looks more like a dog, like especially in his face. It looks like a dog snout as opposed to an otter's face. I tried to match Pokemon's art style at first, but for some reason, no matter what I did, like, it doesn't really look like a Pokemon, so I just did my best. But I hope you guys like it. Okay, so the other Pokemon I want to redesign is ironically another starter. I wanted to redesign Delphox for the same reasons. I feel like based on the first evolution and the first design, Fennekin, I thought that Delphox would be a lot cooler looking. In my honest opinion, I feel like Delphox and Braixen should have both been on all fours, but because Braixen's already bipedal, I was like, well, I can't change that for the final evolution, so I kind of had to work with Braixen's design for my redesign. So here, I'm just trying to figure out the proportions for the redesign. A lot of people are complaining about Delphox having too small of a head, so for my redesign, I made Delphox's head a little bit bigger. Another thing that I changed was that I made the staff that Delphox had bigger than just a normal stick. I feel like in its original design, the stick didn't really have any thought put into it. It looked like it was a random stick that was picked off the ground. And I feel like this took away from Delphox's design, because having this one random element, it kind of took away the attention from like the other elements of its design. But then again, Delphox's whole design looks raggedy. Like, it looks like it's wearing a tattered robe. And I guess it's supposed to be like a wizard design, but even then, it just looks raggedy. Like Braixen, at least it looks like a cute magical girl, which is probably why it's so popular and why it's in Pokken Tournament instead of Delphox. Like, Delphox looks like it's wearing a potato sack, so for my redesign, I wanted to make it look like it had fur that kind of could resemble clothes, but at the end of the day, you could tell it was just fur. So for the legs, I made it flare out a little bit, so you could say that Delphox kind of looks like it's wearing pants, but you could still tell it's just like furry legs. I also drew Delphox with 5 tails because I kind of wanted it to look like a kitsune. Most powerful kitsunes will have 9 tails, but I was too lazy to draw 9 tails, so just pretend that the rest of them are there. Oh yeah, and for the face, I made it have like a furry chest because I kind of wanted it to resemble a beard, because a common element that a lot of wizards have is like that really long white fluffy beard, so I thought it would be kind of cool to use fur to replicate that look. For the ears, I thought that would be cooler if Delphox had flame coming out of its ears instead of just like the giant fur balls that it has currently. Also, while I was filling out the colors for Delphox, I realized that it didn't have any psychic elements at all. Like, it's supposed to be a fire psychic type, but according to its color palette, it just looks like a fire type. So I actually did some hue shifting. I made the red look a little bit more like a pink, so it can kind of have a psychic element, and then I made the tan color look a little bit more desaturated so that the colors will look better together. I feel like this is a little bit more pleasing to the eye too. Like, obviously red, yellow, and orange are the classic fire type colors, but I feel like on other Pokemon they'll do some like hue shifting so that the Pokemon looks more unique. Like for Infernape, it's an orange, but it's not a bright saturated orange. But for Delphox, it was just like straight up yellow, orange, and red for its design. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to add another thing that I added was kind of like the red eyeliner around its eyes. I wanted it to kind of look like a kitsune mask, or those Japanese masks that have like the foxes on them and they have like the cool red patterns. That's what I kind of wanted Delphox's face to look like. And I feel like the reddish pinkish eyeliner on the face, it kind of helps tie in the colors that's like on its lower body, because without the red eyeliner it was just like all tan on Delphox's face. And here I'm just adding some highlights and some finishing touches, and we're done. I went back and I changed the stick because I felt like the red glowing stick, it was kind of too much. So now it's like a normal staff with a flame at the end of it, and I can kind of imagine Delphox putting it on its back once it's done using it. I also made some other small changes, like adding a rim light and changing the shape of the flames on its ears a little bit so it looks more like a flame. I also made the tails be on fire because I thought that would be another cool flame element. And yeah, we're all done. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a good rest of your day. Peace!